Oh my gosh. I didn't put in all that work. All that work. And for what? For it to not be what I hoped that it would be. Oh, this might work though, actually. I changed the orientation to horizontal and everything before I click go live, but here we are. It's fine. Oh, with this, I can like, hold up, wait. See, oh. You can see it's like a gradient thing. I think I went too high. Yeah, anyway. Hi, hello. The lighter tones, and maybe that's the point. I don't know what I'm doing today. I feel like, honestly, I mean, there are points and times, especially because when I do go live enough, often enough, that there's a lot of similarity in the messages, and it seems to here lately the whole like um getting back to navigating path in the dark, or getting to a place of trusting because of something that's about to happen or unfold or whatever's going down. um and I guess like maybe there'd be like different bits and bobs or whatever here and there, so it won't be like necessarily exactly the same. Maybe there'll be like more details or different like a different metaphor that may connect or resonate differently. I don't know. It just feels like now is another of those times where it's I almost want to say self-led, but it's like a point of making choices and decisions. Now I found out because I was like, should I use the Kim crayons? And I asked Google to flip a coin. And then I was like, should I use the SKT? And I asked Google to flip another coin. And then I saw that you could tell, like, in the prompts, you could tell Google to, like, choose a card. And then I tried it with Siri, and it also worked. So I'm going to ask Siri to choose a card. I'm going to pull before and after that card in the Vitruvian SKT. And then that will guide me on where to go, you know? Because I feel like if the message is like trust your own intuition and discernment because it's leading you in a way, like why is Pat here? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, do I even need to go live? Also, I think today is Steph's birthday. Happy birthday, Steph! And yesterday was my good friend's birthday, the one I do the podcast with sometimes, not necessarily lately. Happy birthday to you. Uh, Apparently, I know a lot of Virgos. I love Virgos. Anyway, I was so I met up with Eve for her birthday, and it was a great time. The days were full but short. Um, and I don't know. She started talking about like when we first sort of like crossed paths, and it got me thinking to like why I started reading. Well, I guess it's a twofold thing. I originally started reading to see if I could, because I read for myself. I had read for like one of my roommates, one of my friends, maybe somebody else at that point. I don't remember. Um, but I would like watch YouTube readers, and I was like, I wonder if I could be a live reader. So at first, I was doing it just to see if I could do it, and then I was doing it. It's like between the like seeing if I can do it and when the event happened that I talk about all the time, where my North Node Sagittarius was triggered. That was a new chapter and why I read, and I don't know, maybe I'm like approaching another new phase of why I read. And honestly, so in the in between of seeing if I could read and why I have been reading for the past few years, there was a brief like exploratory like build spreads, bring them live, and see if like anyone wants a live read to like test the spreads or to whatever. Like the spread building phase, the exploratory phase. I was like, I felt like I wanted to not necessarily read for people who were like fresh on their journey because I didn't want not that responsibility, but because I didn't want to. And there's plenty of people who do it. Um and like for people who are like fresh or brand new, like there's a reader. There's always like we always have resources. There's always a resource out there. Um it just timing, circumstance, alignment, choices, decisions on like whether or not we'll utilize those resources, things like that may affect um, if and how we utilize them. And so that's my, I don't know, it was the same thing because like even before I deep into this, I was still a novice at Patrick being online, I guess. I had talked to my one Sag best friend, and I was like, I don't want to be a healer. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to do that. And she was like, well, then, like, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to do all that stuff. Or you could say something and, like, leave it where it is. And so now I feel like after the 2020 to 2023 ish for intermission of things that I felt were, like, important to say or to note because of whatever. Like, again, I feel like everything I have to say I've said. Any input I would have, I've already like made it, and like again, it's not up to our journeys are our journeys, as whatever as they may be. So maybe now I get back to whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling a little lost, honestly. Not necessarily in life in general, just like on how I show up. If I even like, continue to. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do like talkie rant videos. Can I timestamp? Oof. I don't know. I could probably do it later. I'll time ask Siri to like pick a card. I guess I'll have to do the notes over here because I actually just kidding. I have had this little notepad for years, potentially over a decade, and I am just now using this thing. Cool. Um, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's happening or what's about to happen, but recent dreams have compelled me to mind my own business. But I probably should to mind my own business, stay in my own lane, and just let whatever unfold as it unfolds. Um, and I don't know. I do have an almost nervous trepidation for things, and not necessarily again in a bad way. Maybe it more so feels like a time, maybe a brief phase. I don't know how deep. I don't know if it's because Pluto went back into Capricorn or is going back into Capricorn. I don't remember. I know everybody. I could look it up. I have time nomad here. I don't know if it's because it's probably not my Mars return. I mean, honestly, it could be. So my Mars is in Cancer, and it trines within a degree my Sun in Pisces. And someone once told me the world is gonna. I'm just kidding. Somebody once told me that it makes me like protective of people that I care about. And again, like I generally care about people. Pluto is indeed in Capricorn. The moon is indeed in Aquarius. Mars. Oh, Mars is 6 degrees in Cancer. Oh, I'm coming up on that. Oh, wow. No, no, no. That's a trine. Mm. I guess a quick rundown. North Node. Wow. The North Node is 6 degrees Aries and 42 minutes. Right now, no, just kidding. This is Sunday. Why am I on Sunday? Why was I on this date? Let's rewind. On that day, though, Mars is going to be squaring the nodes. Because on that day, Mars is at 6 degrees. And then, is anything in Capricorn going to be completing that North Node 6 Taurus. Uranus is retrograde 27 degrees. Jupiter is in Gemini at 19 degrees, conjuncting the vertex right now. Mars 2 degrees of Cancer. Mercury is a fresh 0 degrees of Virgo. The Sun is 17 degrees of Virgo. South Node 6 degrees of Libra. Black Moon Lilith 8 degrees of Libra. Exactly 8 degrees 0 minutes. Juno and Venus also in Libra. Venus at 13 degrees. The moon is Scorpio right now at 29 degrees. So it's gonna hit Sagittarius today. Also at 0 degrees of Sagittarius is Pallas Athena. So the moon is conjuncting Pallas Athena right now. Pluto retrograde Capricorn at 29 degrees. And Saturn and Neptune and Pisces both retrograde. Saturn at 15 degrees, 54 minutes. Neptune at 28 degrees and 49 minutes. There are like things that I've done in my life that I kind of forget about sometimes. Like when I was in middle school year, I was on the channel one, like the school news, like where you like go. I was barely. I feel like I was barely on the screen. I mostly because homeroom was in like the computer lab, so I feel like it was mostly like chill. I wasn't on there often, but sometimes I remember that I did that. Um, like the little school news, whatever broadcast at in middle school. I think it was 8th grade, maybe. And I think there was either the computer teacher or the art teacher that was like in charge of it. And I liked kind of teachers, honestly. Anyway, for some reason, finishing that out reminded me of like I was like, oh, I could be like a anchor, newscaster, whatever. And I was like, oh, I kind of did that. So nervous. Anyway, also, I guess I'm just like this is the ramble, right? Um, I remember in some video, I don't necessarily talk about it. Excuse me. Super often, like all the time. but about the whole like path worker thing, and so maybe that's another reason why. Not another reason, but like when we were going to the airport, and the shortcut popped up on the GPS, and then we made a turn on Patrick Town Road. I was like, oh, maybe that's a little like um, path worker confirmation if I needed it. I mean, I didn't really, but if you needed it because I posted it, there you go. Just have a thought. I'm having a thought. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
It's tails.
Okay. All right. So I think that was it. I guess I could say I had a dream one time a while ago. I might have recorded it actually. Um, where I was a part of a pair and I was separated from. So basically, there was a pair of us. One of us like created portals, and the other person expanded them. I was the expander of portals, not the creator. And throughout the course of the dream, like we met up. Oh man. So the person who represented the portal creator in my dream, she just showed up in another dream recently. And I can't remember what that dream was. Because after I woke up, I was thinking about it and I was like, why her? Like, why would one that created portals? But sometimes, like, the portal was like really small or whatever. And I was the one that expanded them. So I couldn't create whatever. Why? I don't know. Maybe part of that path worker, whatever. Maybe also to remind myself. Maybe I can like do that in my own life. Expand on opportunities and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't create them. Just expand them. Maybe that's also a part of the whole like when I try to bring different perspectives to mind, maybe things that we aren't necessarily considering so that we can take an alternate course and not have to go whatever way. I don't know. All right, let's get into it. We'll say 18 Ramble. I probably don't. Yeah, I'll do the 0000. Choose ing. We'll say 184040. Hey Siri, choose a card.
You'll need to unlock your iPad first.
No, I don't. Hey Siri, choose a card.
I picked the King of Diamonds.
The King of Diamonds. Wait. So that'll be before the Archangel of Mysteries in this deck. Cool. I remember I did a reading with, I think, the Runic Tarot because I don't know what other deck it would be. And I remember the Tower came out with the King of Diamonds, or the King of Pentacles. And the Tower in that deck was a dragon and its horde. All right, Archangel of Mysteries. Hey, Siri, roll a die.
It's 3.
Three. So those are three more shuffles. That's fine. And that's three. I'm gonna cut it. We're gonna look before and after the King of Pentacles, King of Diamonds, which is the King of Pentacles, which is the Archangel of Mysteries. and then we'll see what's it. Am I gonna go from the top of the deck? Yeah, I'll go from the top of the deck today. The grotesque, the destroyer, and the golden shield. Golden shield is the power and authority of fire. This is Mars and Scorpio, Sun and Aquarius. I am like, oh my gosh, it's fine. No matter what I do, I might as well be on the Wi-Fi then. How do I? Oh my gosh, the energy is just too whatever. I tried to share the clip of when I was looking at that Ace of Swords, or when I saw the Ace of Swords, and it was like turn left. Like, what does that mean? Maybe in 5 years I'll be blah blah blah. 5 years tried 3 days, and then in the clip it was all choppy. I was like, oh my gosh, it's always so choppy. I just gotta see if this is still going. I'll start shaking my head. Oh my gosh. Why it looks so choppy? Hello? Okay. So I am going. Why it look like that? I'm used. My number one fan would be like, "Oh, you should use the whole setup, whatever, so it looks better." And I'm even using my phone. I need to just. I don't remember where I put my webcam, but maybe I need to just find it and bring it out of storage because solutions. It's just it is what it is. Welcome to It Is What It Is Tarot. Where even if I try, no, I'm kidding. I was just thinking about that dream last night. I guess it's just what the energy is, you know. If we're talking about unseen pathways and intuition, discernment, snuggling up to the artiste that holds the brush, connecting to that source of power, not just speaking empty words, it's gonna mess up the signal. Just too high vibrational. We've just seen the Destroyer in the Revelations edition as embodying spiritual knowledge and exercising some kind of authority. Because it was the Hierophant on one side, but the embodied Destroyer on the other. And I don't think I have the. Actually, I might have the Revelations Book of Maps on here. I think I do, because I think I looked one time and it was here. I think I do. Here it is. I'll read for you. Ness channels the destroyer of obstacles. We are seeing her physical and spiritual forms merging, and so she appears with 6 arms. There you go. Shamaness channeling the destroyer of obstacles. Physical and spiritual forms merging. It was that part. High on that part. That's why she got 6 arms. 6 for physical, 4 of her spiritual. Cool. But here, it's a different, whatever. Interesting. I guess I never. I had a dream one time, like with the destroyer and the power and authority of fire. I had a dream one time where I had like started a fire, I guess, and somebody was like, "Oh, you gotta go because you started a fire." And all. But then, as I was leaving, something had caught my eye in the ground, like crystallized into like a diamond or something valuable. And so I gave it to, it was like a guard or whoever. I gave it to the guard. It was like two of them, and I was like, "Here you go." And they were like, "Whoa, where did you get this?" And it was like it was a result of the fire. And so the like the destroyer with the power and authority of fire. I mean, the tower and the chariot are my birth cards. So putting my algal moon to good use, channeling it in the right ways, right? Some things must fall apart before they can come together, which makes sense. I don't know. I just didn't expect to necessarily see this trio. The grotesque, because the grotesque is in this deck, the Five of Cups. The grotesque is that part and piece of the divine within us. The one I was like talking about, right? Because I was like, it's so high vibrational or whatever. Wow, interesting. Okay, cool. And then I was talking to Rob was I was talking with Rob the other day. He asked me if I was gonna be getting the New World Warcraft expansion, and I told him how high my hopes were for the monk healer because I'm best at DPS. I am not great at healing in video games because I like sometimes barely pay attention to my own health and to be responsible management. Plus, you deal with groups that like they don't want to wait for your mana to recover. And so I was the type of healer. I was like, I'm gonna sit here and drink my potion or drink my drinks because it was like I think mana at that point in the game. And I was like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna drink my drinks to recover my mana. And if y'all want to run ahead and die, that's on y'all because I can't heal if I don't have any mana, regardless. And I'm tapped right now. So you're basically saying you want to die. Anyway. But the monk came out and they had this dynamic where there was I think there was like a jade statue maybe. And it was like if you deal damage or something, statue heals. So there was oh, not a synchronicity. There was a system in place for like if you deal damage, that damage is converted to healing for whoever. And I was like, that I can do. And so I guess seeing this like to heal in that way or whatever, I'm like, okay. If all I gotta do is set a fire and wait for whatever to crystallize. I'm kidding. Alright. Next is the Shining Winds, the Gardener. We're looking for the Archangel of Mysteries, the Ferryman, the Journeyman, the Apocalypse, the Wish Granted, the Healer, the Forest, the Will of Life, the Giver, Ivory Shield, Joined One, the Rogue, the Nocturne, the Reaper, the Necromancer, the Blind Seer, the Chariot, Stronghold of the Flame, the Convalescent, Stronghold of the Zephyrs, the Scarlet Shield, the Seeker, the Demiurge, the Priestess, the Politic, the Erudite, Archangel of Glory, the Contender, the Outlaw, Bread of Life, Shining Dew, the Lovers, Mystery of the Covenant, okay. Excuse me, the Empress, the Burdened One, the Malays, the Shining Flame, the Kindred, the Mason, New World Order, the Vagabond, the Dark Horse, the Eminence, the Emperor, the Keeper, the Captor, Sacred Fire, the title card, the Conservator, the Demon, the Defector, the Ebony Shield, the Sharpshooter, the Joyous One, the Hollow Void, Stronghold of the Grail, the Angel, the Hector, Archangel Commander, the Dynasty, the Initiate, the Bereaved, the Discerning One, the Warrior, the Holy Sea, the Memory Keeper, Holy Water. I should have just pulled from the bottom of the deck. Those are all the cards I've gone through. These are the cards I have left. Usually I pull from the bottom, but it's fine. Archangel of Healing, Sacred Cinnabar, the Chancellor, the Haunt, the Shining Quarry, Stronghold of the Veil, the Magus, the Tower, the Corruptor, the Champion. This is literally the last card. Literally the last card. And it's the Archangel of Mysteries. If I would have went from the bottom of the deck, it would have been the first card. The only card that's next to it is the Champion. There is no card after, only the card before. Go 6 or 7. So yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the. I mean, because the Champion, it's not necessarily like the world, because there's more to do. It's not a major arcana completion, it's a minor arcana completion and victory. So, of course, like, whatever was to do maybe is done. So, yeah, maybe they're like, that's it. If that's it, then Siri will say else. Hey, Siri, flip a coin, please.
Heads.
Oh, that ain't it. Okay. At the foot of this champion is the fruit of the tree that was forbidden. Oh, right there. That same fruit. First of all, remember how I mentioned my Algo Moon or whatever? There's the head of Medusa in the card. But also, the Archangel of Mysteries had kept this safe. But now it's in the champion's possession. I don't know what this means. The sixth one is the champion. I'm gonna grab this other SKT since I have it, the Revelations edition, and we're gonna clarify this. Now, am I gonna look before and after the champion, or am I gonna ask Siri for another number or for another card? Since this feels complete, and this is the sepia toned older edition, whatever was of the past is complete. Sure, because it came out at the bottom of the deck. So what's next? I'm gonna ask for a new card. Hey Siri, choose a card.
Let me shuffle first. It's the Nine of Clubs.
The Nine of Clubs. Google said the Nine of Clubs earlier. Da, da. The Nine of Clubs is the pugilist in this deck, and she's the one that stands at the crossroads. She's the one where it's important for our inner sight or our intuition discernment to be on, because there was something about at the crossroads None of the apparent choices were the correct choice. Hey Siri, roll a die, please.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hey Siri, roll dice. That's one. Two. And the shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And we'll cut it there. Again, I'm going to pull off the top. Oh, maybe that's also like emphasizing the completion because it was literally at the bottom of the deck. And if I had chosen to go from the bottom of the deck, it would have appeared maybe a different whatever. But that part in phase is complete. Got it. Love this. And Chancellor. Wow, come through, majors. All right. The Tamed Lion, Mystery of the Covenant, Angel of Justice. What's the top 3 cards here? So that, the screen is so small I can't see. I guess I could do that. You see this orb right here? That's the orb in the Forbidden Tree. The fruit that is at the foot of the champion that was protected by the Archangel of Mysteries. And then it's the mysteries of the covenant. So there you go. Oh, this is Leo. Jupiter in Leo. Hey, my journey buddy just sent me a voice note. North node, the sun is peeking out. Oh, there's an angel back there. Is that the angel? I don't know. Is it Michael? It may be Michael because I think that's the flaming sword. You see, like in the corner. I don't even know what the video quality is like. That's fine. Maybe it's my settings. It is what it is. And then the angel of justice is here. Interesting, interesting. The force, the lovers, the chancellor. Cool. Oh, look, there's the angel. The very next card. Cool. Love it. The angel, the shining quarry. We're looking for the pugilist. 9 of wands, 9 of clubs. The joyous one, the captor, the discerning one, the contender, the burdened one, the memory keeper, the haunt, the joined one, the quester, Archangel of Mysteries, and the Emperor. So here on this side, the Archangel of Mysteries is in between the Emperor and the Six of Swords, the quester. And look, there's the Ark of the Covenant in the Emperor. Is Mystery of the Covenant. And it's right next to the Archangel of Mysteries as she's like holding up this orb now instead of it being on lockdown or whatever. I don't know. Cool. This is like, I feel like I'm not answering my question, but that's fine. The defector, the journeyman, the vagabond, the tension, the rogue, the shining gale, the shining flame, the outlaw, the sharpshooter, the demon, the warrior, the champion, the grotesque. So here, the champion, 6 of wands, is in between the warrior and the grotesque. Again, Mars and Scorpio, but the sun is there. As the first card. There was the grotesque, the destroyer, and The golden shield. Cool. The priestess, the blind seer, the gardener, the eminence, the herald of waters, the dark horse, the healer, the deity, the golden shield, the giver, the politic, the conservator, the destroyer, the kindred, the shining waters, the hollow void, the hierophant, the seeker, sacred word, the magus, herald of the winds, the tower, the demiurge, apocalypse, the reaper, holy grail, the ivory shield, the ebony shield, the title card, herald of the flame, the empress, the bereaved, the scarlet shield, the mason, archangel of glory. So again, made it through that many cards, and still the pugilist avoids me. Bread of life, the initiate, archangel of healing, the convalescent, the hector, the pugilist, and the erudite. There we go. So it's in between the hector and the erudite, which is the five of swords and the hermit. I guess that's how I'm showing the cards because I can't see when I hold them up. It's interesting that the convalescent was behind the archangel of healing because the convalescent is someone who's on that bed rest, recovering. Cool. Still don't know what I'm doing with this. I feel like this is it. What was the question? The question was like, what am I doing today? That's what the question was supposed to be. The Five of Swords. The Five of Swords in this deck is interesting because the actual battle is happening like somewhere else almost. Like it's in the background of the card. The erudite looks ex tenebris, light from darkness, hermit of the mysteries. All about the mystery today, apparently. I hear my mom. I'm like, what's she out there doing? I actually kind of want to look at, I know, and just because I want to see what she has to say about this fight in the back. The sacred bull from Key 5, the Hierophant, manifests in the earthly realm as the Hector. Here is one who possesses great capabilities and exploits it for personal gain. His left boot features a triquetra, and a triskelion is tattooed on his right hand. The runes Urus for physical strength, agility, speed, and stamina. Thurizos for resistance, destroying opponent. Catharsis, Haglos for wrath and the destructive force. And Menas for the self are stitched onto his leather sling. 5 drops of blood on the swords represent the 5 sacred wounds. The raven is a messenger from the spirit realm, a warning of what is to come. Beyond the clouds is a reference to the Trojan War, there we go, which was first set into motion when the goddess Eris threw the golden apple of Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, and the 3 goddesses fought to retrieve the apple to prove which among them was the fairest goddess of them all. Since they could not settle the dispute, Zeus appointed Paris of Troy to adjudicate. Paris ruled that Aphrodite was the most beautiful, and therefore the apple of discord was granted to her. As a reward, Aphrodite promised that Paris could have as his wife the most beautiful woman, Helen, who was already married to a Spartan. Aphrodite caused Helen to fall in love with Paris, and she ran off to Troy with Paris. This launched a war between Sparta, their allies, and Troy. The Trojan. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's what I wanted to know. And that's funny. I just started watching Chaos on Netflix, and they got Trojans and Chaos. And Cassandra was there. She was like, I told them about the horse. Now, I am at least semi familiar with Cassandra, and it's like the way she told old girl what she told old girl, and the way that things played out. I'm like, well, it's no wonder like people don't believe you. Hello, like was the prophecy technically true? Yeah, but not in a way I feel like anyone would have thought it would come true. You know. Anyway. The owl is giving me Athena. Did it mention Athena? Was it Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite? Athena and Aphrodite. Okay. Well, where is Hera? The Trojan warrior on the left in golden armor, protected by Aphrodite, is Hector. The Greek warrior on the right, protected by Athena in owl form, is Achilles. This is the duel between Hector and a heartbroken, enraged Achilles out for vengeance. The battle during which Hector lost his life. Hector, brother to Paris, was known as the greatest warrior of Troy, though he objected to the war with Greece. Yet, out of loyalty to Troy, Hector agreed to command the Trojan army. I'm like, where is Hera's whatever? I guess Athena, Athens, Greece, and then Aphrodite and Troy. So what? I'm like, where is Hera at in this? Maybe Hera was like, I ain't got no part in this. She had other folks to terrorize. This is how many cards we got left. What's the bottom of the deck? New World Order at the bottom of the deck. Saturn and Claw. Now, my immediate feeling with this was something about like having the tools. The Wheel of Life is behind Order. Jupiter and Saturn. Cool. Put the deck down in the card slid. Immediately, it was something like having the tools. Maybe it's that the energy of the berserker again, and how there's like a new way to utilize these tools, a wiser way. Or it's almost like there's things that were invented of art, and so everything took on a lens of that was or maybe you could just say like denser or whatever, 3D, but in the 5D, in a more peaceful time, in a completely different direction, on a different set of circumstances, there is what that thing could have become. And the light from, even if something was created down here or whose most applications and previous intentions have been down here, it's like trying to find the up here purpose, how to use something for communal good rather than conquest or something like that. So, what I'm going to do now is I will use the Vitruvian and the Revelation to I'm gonna timestamp that about 2 minutes back. This is your reminder that timestamps on this channel are approximations. Say getting it, because I don't know what else. 49 minutes, roughly. And the video reconnected that I saw. And who knows if that doesn't throw everything off. But anyway. Maybe I'll get an alchemy donut. Well, it's a tool. It feels like tools. The Revelations edition will be the new way to use it, as it's in full color or whatever. And the Vitruvian edition will be the old way. And I guess it's interesting because it was years and years and years ago. I mean, less than 5, but more than 1 number of years ago. I feel like it was 2020 for some reason. Maybe early 2020. When there was the energy of like gifts evolving. And it was like there's a difference between like a gift developing and a gift evolving. And I don't know if that, I guess the pursuit of this would allow for gifts to evolve. Because it's like within the same realm, within the same scope, within the same suite of applications, you can develop it, it can get more efficient. But when it's like level in another realm, that's when it's like it evolves. Right? Like if you have a gift of communication and you're like 5, there's a difference between like a 5-year-old being like coherent or like wow, and then an adult being like wow, and then someone who's like telepathic and doesn't even need to use words, or like an artist's ability to convey emotion and feelings or whatever they want to convey without words. And it's almost like the development is from like the 5-year-old to the adult, and you can say like evolution would be the realm of artistry because like there are no words there, or an artistry without words. Not the best example, but as close as I can think of. I grabbed the archetypes. I mean, I grabbed the alchemy. So archetype numbered 1 to 70. So that would be today. That's fine. That's going to be the tool. I'm just going to shuffle it. That falls between 50 and or 51 and 70. That's going to be the tool that we're looking at, right? And then the orphan here, for some reason, reminds me of Asbiel, Angel of Ruin. The one who waited for the war to end. And it's like it never did. Also associated with wisdom, Asbiel, and the erudite was there. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, still face down. Oh, it's Eros. Eros and who? Almost came out, but I caught ya. The underworld. Eros in the underworld. Ooh. Eurydice is the name of the other person, by the way. I was like, usually I either remember Orpheus or Eurydice, and more often than not, it's Orpheus. Well, in Chaos, the show that I'm watching that has the Trojans, Orpheus and Eurydice are, at least at this point, main characters. I was like, oh, that was her name, Eurydice. Because I was just talking about, there was some energy about like sneaking into the underworld or something like that that came out recently. I don't know, I don't remember. Alright. The venom. There's the item. It's number 63. That's a 639. Bottom of the deck is the Vision, which is another item, and it's number 55. We've seen the Vision, I feel like, fairly frequently lately. The Venom is interesting because this is, well, the Venom is something that's so easy to see as of a lower frequency or dimension, or something that is more often than not intended to do harm rather than good. But it's also fairly easy because venoms in the right concentration or a venom with a little bit of chemistry can be medicinal. So it's like already there's a feeling of however we start to use whatever, it's already within the realm of conception, potentially within the realm of knowledge, of like personal knowledge, or easily researched knowledge, but also at the same time, it would be one of those things where, like, if we use the venom as something to cause harm, it's almost like very intentionally done. Or like viewing something as knowing that there are like positive ways to use it. It's like it's a choice, a very deliberate choice. Excuse me. No, I kind of wish I had the book. I mean, the book is right there. I wasn't going to use it. I'm not going to use it. It's fine. 58. I could pull before and after the 58th cards. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pull them face down. Excuse me. I'm going to reveal 58 though. Again, it's that like almost that scientists remind the world that clean energy is ready to go whenever. I was literally just thinking about, I don't know if 2020 was necessarily the best. But again, it's like there's a technology, there's a progress, there's a knowledge that is already known, or a technology that that someone already has. But there's a choice to use the venom in a way that is corrosive rather than in a way that is constructive. But there may be circumstances that force the venom to be used constructively and medicinally, and it's the fallout of that. Okay, disconnected and reconnected again. Oh no. But like when the circumstances get dire enough, the truth of how something can be helpful or beneficial is like made aware, and it's not anything like it to most people. It would seem like it happens overnight, but in reality, again, like the technology was always there. The powers that be just decided that they liked things running as they were. Oh, ooh, ooh. I don't think I've been to. Oh, I tried to call myself clever. Okay. Is that the modulus of elasticity? Hey Siri, define modulus of elasticity.
An elastic modulus is the unit of measurement of an object's or substance's resistance to being deformed elastically when a stress is applied to it.
Yup. The elastic modulus. There you go. I bent the card, but it was not beyond its modulus of elasticity, so it didn't deform. There you go. I don't know if that's a part of the message. Yeah, it could be, could not be. Maybe, may not be. maybe the modulus of elasticity speaks to, or the modulus of elasticity speaks. There are some things that have become so, regardless of how well intentioned uh, a thing was, regardless of the truth of something's invention, or regardless of the sacredness of like a symbol, there are some things that when they're done utilizing those things, and you could say the degree of atrocity is high enough, it's like it breaks the elastic modulus of that thing. Now it can only be seen as something destructive or bad because again of the degree that it was used in, or the degree of whatever. And it can go positive too. There's something that's so good and seen as so good that it could never be seen as like bad or wrong, even if it may be. Again, I guess depending on the situation. And since the card did, but again, it speaks to like, because this could have been anything. It could have been one of 20 things. Because there's only, a certain number of things that technically it could be. But again, like the connotation of venom is like we know that venom can be turned into medicine. And maybe that's what makes it more. Maybe it is something that we see sides of. Oops. Okay, come on. I would have cried. Now, fortunately, if something did happen to that card, it's my Revelations. It was the Revelations deck. I know. I think the third print or the second print is running right now. It's a print that Benabel, she says she's gonna put it in circulation. So now the Vitruvian edition, this ain't in print no more. So I need you to stay as pristine as possible, please. Number 58, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 40. 1, 2, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not gonna look at the bottom of the deck or anything. I forget what card number it was. Maybe 25, maybe 26. Since it like flipped out and came out, I decided to keep it. Well, I just looked at the bottom of the deck, and it's the stronghold of the veil. So, I said I wasn't gonna look, but then I looked. The card that came out is the bereaved, the Three of Swords. Card that the 50th card that revealed itself is the Emperor, and again, before I look at the face down cards before and after it, it feels like it speaks to the intentionality of how this is used. Like, it's one thing, and maybe it adds a layer of complexity to not the work, because it's like if someone is using the venom in a very vicious way, and then they're met with like opposition or resistance, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would use the venom to like do that. And then they're like, oh well, the venom is also like medicinal. The venom can also be a good thing. And it's like, yeah, but that's not how you're using it. you know Water can hydrate and it can drown. The pen can write the most of stories, or if you put it in someone's if you put neck, then they'll bleed it. Like everything is how you use it. A lot of things are, most things are how you use it. Some things are how you use it. But it's like again, it's intentionally being I don't even want to say misused, because to say that it's being misused would imply that it was meant to be used any other kind of way. And again, with the Emperor here, the intentionality is so clear. Like, this isn't an accident. This isn't a mistake. This. And now we will get an alchemy for how this is being used. I guess I don't know. Yeah, it's like when something is going on. Again, the venom is being used intentionally in a not great way. And then when anything is said about it, it's like, well, the venom can be medicinal. The venom doesn't have to be whatever. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be, but that is the way that you're using it. So I don't even know why we're playing in the realm of hypotheticals right now, because in real life, girl, you're not using it in those ways. You know what I mean? In general. All right. And we're just gonna reach in here and pull the card because I've already been live for like an hour, 8 minutes, and 18 minutes. And it's gonna be the oil of vitriol. Oh, perfect. Are you the lion or the sun? Bottom of the deck is the magnum opus, the great work. It also reminds me there was a show that I watched, and there's a guy, there's a girl, and she reincarnates, and there's a moment, there's like a huge tower moment in her life that happens, and then she lives her life, and she is felled by a blade, and then she goes back to that tower moment, and she does that like 7 or 8 times, and every time after that tower moment she takes a different path, she lives a different life. So she was like a merchant, and then she was a maid, and then she was a swords person. Like, she did all of these things, and she retains her memory, and so she has all of these people that she's met in these different lifetimes and all these skills and talents. Some of them, the ones that are more knowledge based, she can immediately and readily use, but anything that requires a certain physical whatever, at the moment of her tower, at the moment she returns to, she didn't have the physical uh, shape, stamina to do those things. So she has the knowledge of like, oh, if I do this or do that, but the body can't keep up because her body has never done it, and bodies for some things must be trained. Anyway, there's a person that she studies medicine under, and like, they find a cure for this prince, and they do amazing work, but he has his own baggage, and he has this thing that his baggage is that he's always been a hindrance, or he's always been the reason why things have fallen apart. And he makes this groundbreaking discovery, and he's like, oh, well, since all I do is destroy and break things, then that's what this is going to be for. And the person tries to convince him that like anything can be used like medicinally, like it was a venom. And she was like, you can find a medical purpose for this, you can find something good to do with this later incarnations. So she knows him, he doesn't know her. She's had a few lifetimes, she's had a few cycles to like think about different ways that he could use whatever, because she doesn't want him to go down that path, even though he said to go down that path. um Ultimately she convinces him that there's another way, and he's like, I never considered that I could use this thing, my magnum, it was his magnum opus. He was like, I never considered that this could be used for anything other than like mass destruction. And he was trying to find somebody to unleash mass destruction with this thing that he invented. But he couldn't find anybody who would do it because it was unconscionable. You know what I mean? But she showed him another way. But for some reason, like with the oil of vitriol and this emperor, it's like maybe someone doesn't know that there's another way. Although again, it feels more intentional to me. It feels like someone is intentionally, but maybe they ain't. Or maybe it's like it's one thing to know, but it's another thing to do. Who am I? And again, maybe it's not commonly known yet, but it feels like very close to turning around. And then the Three of Swords is there, so maybe it is trauma based. Maybe trauma is the reason why someone wants to purposefully slow destruction. And it's like, okay. All right. And we'll cut it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's the Hector again. No. The healer is at the bottom of the deck, but it won't be after I put all of this together. We saw the healer there. Bottom of the deck is the Dynasty. Well, this was the card that inspired the, take it in a new way. So, already there's this question. And this is a question that's been coming out more recently, kind of sort of frequently. With the 10 of Pentacles versus this 3 of Swords, it's about like costs. Do we sacrifice the future because of the past, or can we allow ourselves to sacrifice the past for a different future? Meaning, are we so hurt and attached to our trauma that will sacrifice a life of happiness or anything different? Or are we willing enough to go outside the bounds of everything that we know and leave the pain of the, because the 10 of Pentacles builds a legacy for the future. And I guess, will the legacy be one of the pain and trauma, the inheritor of a cycle for things to keep spinning and turning? Or, again, is there a moment where something breaks? And in that way, the Hector 5 of Swords could be like laying down the sword like enough is enough. Generation after generation of vengeance and retribution and whatever. It's one of those things that only creates more of it. So you never can really break it. Not by doing the same thing over and over, you know. That's the tricky part about justice. Especially like human justice. Maybe you would be in the right to an eye for it, to take an eye because you lost an eye. But when you take that eye, there's going to be someone else that takes your eye, you know? That's why an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. Now, major arcana justice, I don't know, it's a different story. All right, we're going to take, I don't want this one. I'll take this one. And imagine. We got synchronicity, the card of synchronicity, which is a 68 matching the venom. Look at that synchronicity. Cool. Bottom of the deck is glass. Number 30, speculum. Maybe it is about looking things under a microscope. I don't know if I caught it when I did this live with the I Ching, but lines 3 and lines 5 were the lines that changed, and 35 was what they changed to. And that was the advancement beyond the naivete. I don't know, anyway. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. Unis Mundus Synchron. No, 59. Sorry, number 59. I saw that card at the cut when I was shuffling the deck. Cool. I guess that's the thing. Because even with Unis Mundus, there's like the white snakes and then the scaled snakes and the non-scaled snakes, and they're like separate. And the thing about the red and white rose is that the red doesn't stain the petals white. And so just maybe that symbolizes this, like, whatever this venom is, it's never going to be 100% one thing or the other. It's never going to be purely medicinal or purely. It will always be like dual natured or able to be used in whatever way. We're gonna pull this card right here. Oops. This one. Oh my gosh, this card has a bend in it. No! I feel the crease. I don't know if you can, maybe it's easier to see. You see that crease? Oh my gosh. Ace of Orbs, the Darkening, Bread of Life. I pulled this because we have the Stronghold of the Veil at the bottom of the deck. It's this darkening world. Maybe that's the world that is blind. Because we eye for an eye for an eye. With whatever this venom is. Flanking the Emperor, we have the Holy See and the Stronghold of the Grail. Without pulling a message for the Stronghold of the Grail, this feels like this is like when we as humans use our religions or spiritual beliefs to justify things that are unconscionable. And it's like, well, the divine told me that blah, 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 blah. And if you blah, 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 then you will blah, blah because you have blah, blah, these blah, blahs. You know what I mean? And there is no greater glory than blah, blahing the blah, blahs. And it's like, and it's interesting because now this gives the Hector a different context. Because the Hector, so this is almost like the one that has walked away from this. The one that was like, you know what? Let me check my own intuition discernment. Let me see if this checks out, you know. If the blah blah is all about this, but you're saying the blah blah wants us to blah blah the blah blahs, which is more like this, which is in no way any of this, then like what's real tea, girl? Like, you know what I mean? Because you're painting an image of something that is like, and we're like, and it doesn't make sense. Like this emperor declares themselves to be some kind of messenger from whatever. Look, there's a scorpion. The scorpion is interesting because it's almost like there's a level of transformation here that would make someone make this divine whatever there's nothing divine about that transformation because they use the venom in a way that is venomous to get what they want, right? Like, imagine if someone's like, I am, like, I know all the secrets to making money, and if you listen to me, you'll make a lot of money too. And they have like all of these like seminars and books and whatever and appearances, and then you find out like they're literally stealing money. And it's like, oh, well, that's how you have so much money because you're robbing all these banks to get it. You're not using your own tips and tricks and methods or whatever to get the money that you're like wanting. Like, it's that level of disconnect. Now, flanking the Hector, we have the Ebony Shield and the Shining Quarry, Caverns of the Gnome, and the Sanctum of Treasures. Interesting. This is night, the Space of the Night, and the Queen of Pentacles. Maybe this also speaks to the amount of time that it may take. And maybe that supports this, like, whatever this venom is, it's not, whatever this venom, whatever this tool is, the way that it's used, even if it's used in a different way. So there are some, this time somebody's going to have to fall out. As like, just the will it ever, not that we necessarily need to know, because it feels like if the time is so far out, it's almost like irrelevant, you know. I think so. I think this is a yes. The benevolent guide is at the bottom of the deck, number 57. 57. We saw, no, 59. That's what it was. I think yes, because we go from this dot rosa mel apibus of the red and white rose to the golden rose. Oh, here's 58. 57, 58, 59. Look at that. Oh, and then you see the bee, apibus. I'm pretty sure that's B. Like apiary. 59, 50, 57. But because of this golden rose, I think, again, well, sure. And it's interesting that we see the imagery of snakes here because there's a snake in that lover's card that was wrapped around the tree that had the fruit on it, the fruit of the tree, the one that was forbidden. But here is the golden rose with no snake. So ultimately, like, again, it comes this whole hour and a half. It's like it's personal choice. There are things that we can do, ways that we can use gifts and abilities to try to make up for some wrong that was done in the past. And it's not to invalidate the wrongs, and it's not to reduce in severity any like trauma that there may be. But, but again, it asks the question, it's like, well, what of the future? And in a lot of ways, or at least in some ways, in many arenas all over the world, we're kind of sort of faced with that, like, what kind of peoples will we be, both nationally, locally, and internationally, or all of that. Um, Almost like there's an opportunity to set a new standard, to set a new narrative, or to continue down paths that we've been on since, as far as many people know, time began. You know, maybe I'll read Oil of Vitriol. Ooh. And then I think I'll end this here. Oil of Vitriol, number 35. That's 25, 30, 33, 35. Acidity, resentment, and purification. When the green lion appears, a great alchemical reckoning is afoot. Long-standing frustration and imbalance cause this regal creature to lash out unconsciously, consuming all in its path. Be prepared for emotional turmoil as the lion thrashes about. Don't worry, these changes are necessary for growth, and in the end, will be a relief to all. Purification is the lion's aim, and it's determined to get there one way or another. When this card appears, the question must be asked: am I the green lion or the sun? The one consuming or the one being consumed? It is said that finding oneself in the mouth of the lion is a necessary moment on any spiritual path. As the discomfort passes, the sun's beams shine all the brighter. So yeah, and again, it's under the Emperor. Maybe it's New Mars though. That's like, you know what? I'm tired of fighting. You know. We got Mercury and Virgo up here with the Ten of Pentacles, and Saturn in Libra. I think Mercury's a fresh 0 degrees in Virgo, ain't it? Mercury, 0 degrees of Virgo. We are officially in the realm of the Ten of Pennies. Cool. Mercury and Virgo. Awesome. Behind Mercury and Virgo, the dynasty is the Archangel Commander. The Archangel Commander is the one that calls us to do what we need. The Archangel Commander is also the one that, in many contexts, in this deck in particular, in these decks, the SKT in particular, the one that doesn't fight our battles for us. This is not divine intervention where spirit comes in and sets everything correct. This is where it's important for us as individuals and as a collective of individuals to make a choice and decision on. It's like we're setting the sort of standards, we're setting the scales, maybe setting the karmic scales right now. And depending on how we set the scales, that's going to determine almost like how the divine intervenes and assists moving forward. Almost from a karmic standpoint. Again, like to dispense venom upon any and all, but expect medicine from those, like in spirit or whatever, is it's very human. But major arcana justice is like, girl, like, you know, what comes around goes around. You get what you give. Give venom, get venom. You want medicine. Sometimes you gotta give that. I don't know. The Eminence, the Ivory Shield, and the Lovers. See the snake around the tree? There. The tree with the fruit in it. Just like the snake was coiled around the red snake was coiled around the white rose. Now, What is the venom, you ask? The venom could be anything. I don't know. I feel like we would know what the venom is. Like, the venom is probably something that maybe you're like, oh, I could do this or I could do that. And maybe your intuition, discernment, or conscience is just like, or maybe you could not, you know? Or you could do something else. But it's like we are always in that space of creating the future. And because we're always in that space of creating the future, the vision and the vow, it could change at any time. 54, 55. Wow. And then 36, the mirror of the 63 is behind that at the bottom of the deck. The card rolled away. Wait, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. 68, right? No, the oil of vitriol was 63. Okay. I was like, I remember saying, no, Unus Mundus, sorry. Unus Mundus was 63, LXIII. Because I was like, I remember saying 63, that's a 639. And then I was like, wait, that was. Anyway. Ooh, the temple almost. See, it's like right there. That's the temple. The temple in itself. With the judge. Interesting. Alright. We'll do final. Oh. 134. I'll just say final card. 130. Cool. The Self, number 29, is the card that comes out. Bottom of the deck is the Mother, number 1. Interesting. Do we have to mother the self? Maybe. Because there's this, like, the golden egg, pearl, whatever that thing is there. It's like the core of the self. So maybe again it speaks to, because life is life, our circumstances are going to be different. The creator and the mystic are behind the mother. Because life is life, all of our circumstances, our challenges, our pasts, our pains, our traumas, our histories, our bright spots and dark spots are going to be different. And because of how we come into existence, our parents do their best or their worst. But at a certain point in time, again, like from the Three of Swords to if we want something, we have to be the ones to initiate receiving it or getting it. You know? At some point, it's like if the mother didn't do whatever, and if it's desired, then the child will have to do it on its own. Because blaming won't make any, like, it won't. I don't know. I don't know if there are too many things in life, too many places where we can go and say, well, I didn't get this, and then somebody just gives it to us because we didn't get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It could also be, um, I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking about the mitochondria is from the mother. So everyone has DNA. It's purely the mother, unadulterated. and it's in the organelle that powers every single cell. And so it's almost maybe that, like, even if we don't think that there's something positive or beneficial or whatever we got from the mother, it's like it is. It may take some digging to find. It may be right at the top because the gold, whatever, was in a nest of several things that were not it. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's our divine mother. You know, the one that gave birth to our souls. Who knows? All right, final card, SKT, Vitruvian. Cool, it's the contender, 5 of Wands, Saturn and Leo, with the angel Sagittarius at the bottom of the deck. 14 is a 5. Divine Higher Genius. So there's this contender competition. We see the head of one snake, 2 tails. But then there's this divine higher genius. I saw a thing on the internet the other day. It was someone who was pushing a thing or whatever. Oh, it was animated. Um, so it was work smart or work hard, work smart, work hard and smart. Work hard was somebody pushing a square up uh, uh, up an incline. Work smart was someone rounding out the square so they could roll it up the incline. Work hard and smart was someone rounding out the square so that it would roll. Or, yeah, rounding out the square so that it would roll, but elevating the incline so that it would just roll down the incline instead of like having to roll it up an incline. And I don't know, for some reason, the divine higher genius amidst this contender, it's giving me that almost work smarter, not harder, but maybe it's work hard and smart. Maybe it's working with your intuition instead of against your intuition, or discernment. Just Patrick, I don't know. I want this. Yeah, maybe Patrick's discernment and intuition is like, no, you don't. And Patrick's like, yeah, I do. And the intuition, then the divine comes in. It's like, trust me, Patrick, you don't. And I was like, free will. I get to make my own choices and decisions. And then, you know, sometimes, most of the time, eventually, it's like, yeah, I didn't want it. And then intuition, discernment, and the divine is like, yeah, you didn't want it. I was like, yeah, you live and you learn, you know. Ooh, I saw a flash of it. The Kindred, Mercury and Cancer, with the Outlaw, Sacrifice and Redemption, which is water. The Archangel of Glory is behind that sacrifice and redemption of the Outlaw. How interesting. We see a butterfly that has emerged from its cocoon. We see the snake that is coiled up the leg of this outlaw. Instead of it going like up the tree, it's going down the leg. The Three of Chalice is the Kindred. Oh, there's like a lot here. I'm getting this symbol on the moon. But for some reason, it's feeling like a lock. It's feeling like a lock. The moon represents intuition. It feels like, or the intuitive, the unseen, the subtle. But this is feeling like there are certain things that can't be perceived. This is almost an energy that's kind of like a test of character. But the outlaw was at the bottom, right? I don't remember. I think so. Also, this is a 3-3. 1 plus 2 is 3, and then the kindred is the 3 of cups. This is almost like a test of character. Almost like there's certain information that's being withheld. And again, it may be that like metaphorical, metaphorical money, where it's like money is telling me to go here, and I'm gonna get a bunch of money, and like that's it. So you go wherever. It's almost very, it's very Macbeth. Um, you go wherever, and it ends up being like a bank. Not the best metaphor. Okay. You go wherever, and it ends up being a bank, and you're like confused, but also banks house, they hold, at least back in the day, a lot of money. I don't know how much of it is digital now. Um, so you end up in the bank and you're like, oh, like, and you're like looking around, you're doing whatever. There's no, like, no one's just handing out money. And so you reasonably and logically conclude that while you're scoping out the place, you notice that like security is lax or whatever. And you're like, oh, I'm in to rob the bank and steal the money. And again, that lock is on the moon. Like spirit doesn't, the divine doesn't necessarily go, hey, that's not a great idea. Like, it's like the intuition discernment is enough to lead to the bank, and then there's a test of character. The test of character being, do you rob the bank or do you do like literally anything else? Now, in the metaphor, I don't know how you're supposed to get the money without robbing the bank. I feel like that's the point. The point being that Patrick isn't going to be there to give you the answers or to think for you. Not that Patrick would necessarily like see himself as whatever, but like if you're someone who you're like, well, my intuition discernment is leading me to this place right now, and I don't know what to do because whatever. Patrick can't tell you what to do. Maybe some other reader can on here. Maybe. I'm just not that kind of. I'm not that person. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? It's not my gift. We'll say that. My gift is not telling people what to do. Uh, I wouldn't necessarily say that my gift is like trying to help people see maybe alternatives or different perspectives. I would say my desire is to at least sometimes show people that maybe there are other things to consider. But it's like there's a certain reason why everything can't be just sort of said. And it feels like sometimes it goes beyond free will. But it feels like that energy closely mirrors and echoes that of the Archangel Commander. That sometimes we have to do stuff for ourselves, or the divine will like give us direction, give us the tools, give us everything that we need, but we have to be the ones to handle the execution and everything else. It may not necessarily happen. Right, like in the video I shared on the community page the other day with the one girl who was like teaching the guy how to manifest. And he was like manifesting a spoon. And then the waiter came and was like, hey, like, I noticed that you don't have a spoon. And he's like, I have a spoon. And he's like, really? Because I don't see a spoon. He's like, I have. Because he, like, anyway, lost right there, maybe. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh, the execution. That's what it was. How, like, maybe we're led to the right place at the right time. And, like, but there's still something that we have to do. It may not necessarily just happen. I don't know. I don't know if it's related to the venom, um, but something about the kindred and the outlaw, it feels like it's a test of character. There's like a part of the prophecy that is purposefully unrevealed, um, and in the case of Macbeth, his wife convinced him to slay the whoever some randos around the cauldron said that he would be the Duke or whatever. I don't remember Macbeth. It was a long time ago. All I know is they chose an interpretation of the prophecy that involved murder when it could have been, because I think Macbeth was already favored by that Duke. So he could have been like named the successor or whatever, or inherited role, the position, and I didn't go there. I don't know. Anyway, cool. Well, I hope you wait. We still need an alchemy. Almost forgot. We still need an alchemy. We got Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, loosely, I think, sextiling Saturn and Pisces. More exactly, sextiling Neptune and Pisces. But, yeah, anyway. And I feel like it's almost. I don't necessarily know if I would say that like divine. Well, there are divine, like Sacred Clown Heyoka, divine trickstery type, the divine temptress, who is the Queen of Pentacles, Ebony Shield, and around that Five of Swords was the Shining Quarry and the Ebony Shield. But again, that Five of Swords. Hector had broken away from whatever programming of the Hierophant that was on the side of the Emperor, and so that Hector wasn't going to fall to the same temptation that the Hierophant would. Uh, Power, position, notoriety, money, whatever. Right. Oh yeah, the divine. I don't know. It does feel a little. Maybe it's because I'm human and I'm doing this reading, tapping into the energy. Maybe like from a human perspective, it feels almost not deceitful, but there's just like something is left intentionally vague, or it's intentionally left up to interpretation. And again, like it's a revealer of character. And then somebody, my intuition, discernment, the divine, and thinking that it's like this get out of jail free card. Oh, well, the divine told me to do it. And then it's like there's this court where maybe they have an oracle or they got an angel as the judge. They got a middleman. And the middleman goes before the divine, and the divine, or they call the divine to the stand, and the divine is like, no, I did not tell them to rob that bank. I guided them to the bank because blah 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 blah, whatever, all, divine vision, knowing, seeing everything. But they were not, like, the instruction was not to rob the bank. Robbing the bank was a personal choice that they made. And then it's like, I feel like for the person that thought that this get out of jail free card, the divine told me to blah blah blah, whatever, my intuition, discernment, blah blah blah, whatever, it's like the betrayal that, like, what, like what do you mean? Like, that is what almost makes it feel like a little tricky, not necessarily deceitful, but tricky. Like, again, purposefully do that is like, I don't know. Some people say the divine is too benevolent and loving and above everything to intentionally leave certain areas gray, but also free will does exist. And for free will to exist, not everything can necessarily be said, because at some point we got to make choices. And the choices that we make are the choices that we make. The burden and responsibility of those choices falls on us, regardless. Anyway, I don't know. And maybe that's about as much as I can say. Yeah, that's about as much as I can say. The golden rose is like will not leave the bottom of the deck. It was like at the bottom at the cut. All right. But again, there is that divine temptress of the Ebony Shield, especially in the Vitruvian SKT. All right, final alchemy. And I don't know. This isn't. It's not to. I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, maybe I'll take a break from reading for a minute to focus on the stuff I need to do. One of my greatest procrastinator in me is like, oh, I got there's plenty of time, and then before you know it, there's like a week. There are some things that I that very much so would thrive under my attention right now, and I can do that. Because again, this I feel like it was a different approach, similar message. Um, it does kind of sort of play into some of what I was feeling, but again, because I had that dream, it's like we're in this. I don't know if it's indicative of the times. It kind of sort of is. It's a test of personal character, but also a test of who we are as a collective, global, national, international, local humanity, and of the world that we support being, the type of world that we want to live in, that our actions, choices, decisions, words, and lack thereof sometimes creates, you know. And there again is that golden rose. All this shuffling and cutting and everything else I'm doing, and the golden rose. Maybe I'll read it. Oh, there we go. Caput Corvi. The Raven's Head, number 47. I was just looking at this on my iPad the other day. There it is. Caput Corvi was number 7 of the 9 new moons of the vow. Remember that picture I posted? The reading that I posted the community page on? And we just had the 9th new moon. And the 9th new moon was wise salt. Exercise wisdom ahead. Bottom of the deck is Nebula, number 39, Fog. 39, 3 plus 9 is 12, 4 plus 7 is 11. So there's this like 11, 12 energy here. I'll read the Golden Rose first because it kept making appearances. And because I guess it symbolizes the point where something can become more completely something new and not have as much residue of the past on it. The Golden Rose is the secret, the altar, the gem. The rose has long been used as a symbolic image for the summation of alchemy, the outer petals representing the first 7 planets in operations, while the inner petals protect the revelations from unwelcome eyes. Exactly resides at the center of the Golden Rose. Alchemy tells us it is a secret, and it's meant to be kept as such. The rose spirals both inward and outward simultaneously. It offers beauty to the onlooker while concealing its inner chambers. This is the complex nature of the Golden Rose. It challenges the alchemist to their thinking, to devote their work to honoring the secret rather than attempting to become the master of it. Kneel at the altar of the own. Cherish the golden rose, as it is the model of the self. More will be revealed. The model of the self, and the self was the last card from the archetypes with the mother and that potential, like how it could take us some effort to find it at the bottom. Anyway, whatever is secret is meant to be kept secret. And again, that reminds me of like the lock on the moon, the runic lock on the moon. But that was the water of the Empress. It was almost more about the things that she couldn't tell us than what she was telling us. Excuse me, because I don't think I have it on here. Yes, I do. I do. I do. I did. Pretty sure. We'll see. I don't even know how to operate this thing anymore. Hello? I guess I didn't. Oh, no, it's in the files. Okay, alright, alright. I'm like, hello? I know I did it. Yeah, here it is. I want to read it as it is mentioned in here. I wish I could just, like, go to a certain page. Is that not possible? Can. Oops. Oh. Click the right icon? Maybe. Can I open with. How do I. Anchor. Quick actions, open a new window. How do I use books to open this file? Download it? No. It's fine. This is something to figure out another day. We'll just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Oh, too far. Too far. Workplace. What can you do to increase peace and in what ways might you be emotionally unavailable to others? How can you be more open? What feelings do you feign? Why? How might your life be different if you honestly express yourself? Who makes you feel at home? Plan some time to emotionally connect with this person. Consider one longing of your heart that you have neglected. How can you treat it with more care? Those are the whispers of the weave. Wow, the Ten of Cups. Ten of Challenges, the whispers of the weave. I scrolled too far. I meant to go look for the deck dungeon challenge of the Queen of Cups. Because it was something like she tells us as much. Was that the deck dungeon challenge? She tells us as much as she can. And it feels like from one perspective, we may think that like, oh, she told us everything. But from another, it's like she told us as much as she's allowed to, which doesn't necessarily everything, which can give pause of like, is there something I'm not considering? Now again, the purpose of this isn't to like sow seeds of doubt upon one's intuition or discernment, but it's to maybe also remind us that we have free will and we have choice when it comes to the actions that we take to vision center of the room and the queen is a creature to any diseases affecting the creature. The queen is a calm, empathetic being and offers as much wisdom as she can in response to any questions. If the queen senses a need, she may offer a decanter of endless gift. The door in the queen's room is unlocked. It's that she's calm and empathetic, offers as much wisdom as she can. And sometimes, like, the wise thing is to allow someone else to reach their own conclusions. The wisest thing. Sometimes the wisest advice in a situation that we can give is no advice. And that's us as humans, as people. Anyway, we all have our own development arcs, I guess. Corey Ravens had initiation, the ordeal, and the work begins. Though alchemy is filled with a myriad of open-ended symbols, the Raven's Head has a precise message. It arrives to mark the beginning of the work. This card indicates something has occurred to initiate the spinning of the alchemical wheel. With its mighty churning, things are about to change on every level. The raven's work cannot be undone, just as the pill cannot be unswallowed, or the pearl turned back to sand. You may be overwhelmed or think the journey ahead is not for you. Your doubts matter not to the raven, as its appearance signifies it has chosen you. You are ready and the moment is now. Can you go back to the way things were? Can you pretend nothing has changed? The raven caws a clear no. It does not apologize, as it knows your destiny is great. And then we have the fog under that, which is disorientation, a funk, and a lull. When the fog is present, nothing is clear, not even the problem. It's hard to orient oneself or to know where you're headed. A distinctly damp mood blankets the laboratory. Fog can be surprisingly pleasant as a counter to drama, and therefore it can lull us to sleep for long periods of time. With its cooling nature, fog is a natural balm for pain and trauma. Yet this state cannot sustain us, for we long to see the horizon in our surroundings. There are two solutions. The first is heat. Think sweating, desire, confrontation, passion, creativity. If that's too edgy, the second and inevitable solution is time. As they say, the morning fog burns off by noon. The sun will be seen again. How much time you spend in the fog is yet to be determined. Timing yet to be determined, things that aren't necessarily clear, and spirit saying, or a piece of the divine, or just the this doesn't mean anything. The coordination of events in life means like it's now is the time. And it said the cause of that initiation can be seen or unseen. Anyway, that's what I got. I hope you'll have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey, what you find in a way that is hopefully helpful. I hope that as you go about life and you go about living, that you not be so anxious or concerned or worried about the future that you don't do anything, but that you do consider that that you consider I don't want to say the consequences of your actions,